Hello, welcome to the first episode of the tutorial series. So as you saw me in the 0th episode, I went into the save slot, and this is the first thing that we are greeted with, which is the cutscene. So we're going to skip it with a triangle. Then we will have another cutscene from Glimmer, and this is another skip. And before we start, I want to mention two things. First of all, why would you play 4-Yorp over other trick heavy categories, like for example 3-any or I don't know 2-any even? So I like 4-Yorp because first of all it's a little longer, so you play more of the levels and you can perform more of the skips, which is the kind of the soul of this category. And also like 3-any has this issue where because you have to collect 100 eggs on your way, you kind of have to go through all of the levels. You cannot skip just like chunks of levels, because then you will miss some of the easy and very fast eggs. So there are still plenty of very cool tricks in 3-any, but in 4-Yorp you can genuinely skip so much, and it's such a cool looking category when you do it fast. Some of the tricks are very they look so beautiful, so majestic kinda, you know? And the second thing is basically the developers, when they tried porting the game over from console to PC, I don't know, they changed something, whether intentionally or not or unintentionally. They changed something in the physics, and some of the tricks that are possible on PC are not possible on console. And I will mention them, and I will also show you the alternate routes for console for certain levels. On consoles, so that you can basically do it as optimally as possible, and so that you know which tricks are just not possible on console. So we're going to start. As you can see, we have an NPC which is called Pogo, and he's kind of a meme over in the 4-Yorp and just in Spyro 2 Reignited community, because he has a hitbox, like a dialogue box that is extending really far. So what we do in order to skip him so that we don't have to talk to him is we lean all the way left, as you can see. So something like that, okay? We're going to, when we start, what we essentially do is we hold left and then hold charge and then left, so that Spyro turns something like that, okay? So we stay like, I don't know, here, and then we start charging and we go like that, okay? Then we have two enemies in front of us, as you can see, and basically our goal for Glimmer is that we have to kill 10 enemies in order to power a super flight gate. And that super flight ability is going to be used to get 2 of the orbs in the level, and it will allow us to skip past the bridge that Moneybags is trying to sell us, saving us 100 gems. And after we're done with the 2 minigames, we're going to grab the talisman from the end of the level gem cutter here in Glimmer, and we're going to leave. Obviously we're going to collect as many gems as we can on our way to said locations, and then we're going to leave. So that's essentially what we have to do. So these 2 enemies, one will go to the left, the other one will go to the right. So we want to kinda flame the left one first, and then we're going to wrap around and flame the right one second. So kind of like that. Okay. Now we're going to keep charging over here, jump up there, get these two baskets, and then jump on these two stone platforms. After getting the gems from here, we're going to drop down and go over here, kill this enemy, and walk up to the ledge. And as you can see, we have a row of lizards here. And the main way of getting them, the fastest way of getting them, is essentially we're going to drop down while facing the left one. We're going to flame him, and then while our flame animation is still, you know, going on, we're going to turn to the right and we're going to grab the second lizard with one flame as well. Something like that. Okay? If you don't get the second lizard, it's fine, because we will start charging afterwards, and we're going to grab these baskets over here, and as you can see, we have Zoe over here. Zoe will talk to us if we try charging past her. So what we do is we charge jump. So while charging, we jump, and then we fly. So something like that. Okay. We're going to land over here, grab these two baskets, and grab this lizard over here. And as you can see, there is a while we enter this cave, there is a lizard chasing a gem cutter. If he's on a good cycle, you theoretically can get him, but I don't recommend that. Instead, I recommend just going for these gems. If we kind of drop over here, we will also go get the green gem over here. So you have to kind of feel it out where's the spot where Sparks gets this gem first, and the second gem, the red one. Now, when we go over here and we try dropping, originally we used to go flame this guy and go for these baskets, but it turned out it's half a second slower. So instead what we do is we drop and turn straight over here, grab this guy, and we jump over the gem to progress up on up through the stairs and over here, and then we just flame this guy. Now we got 10 souls, and as you can see, we have a flight power up, but there is no way of getting up there because we don't have the climb ability. This is where the most important mechanic of this video game comes into play, and you have to learn it if you want to run the game properly. Basically, it's called perfect hovering, and perfect hovering is something like that. We jump, then we initiate glide, and after a short delay, we hover. Okay? Timing it perfectly is going to take you a few, well, it's going to take you a few reps, essentially. It's not as easy as it looks, but to make it as easy for you as possible, let me just show you what you have to do. So basically, when you jump, Spyro reaches the apex of his jump, and this is where you have to start gliding. If Spyro is still rising, so for example like that, or if Spyro is starting to fall, then these are just missed times, and you have to kind of work on that, okay? So when he reaches the apex, this is where you start gliding, and after a short delay, which also requires some timing, you can initiate hover. If you do it too early, Spyro will kind of like drop down, so you know, it requires some timing as well. If you do it too late, obviously he's not going to be able to make it up the ledges. Now, also, as I said in the introduction episode, what matters a lot is your FPS value. The lower your FPS, the higher the Spyro actually jumps. So what you want to do, preferably in this category, we like to play on 30 FPS because that makes some of the jumps, which ultimately save time, possible. Is the only way. Now I will show you a comparison on screen, like a comparison between different jump heights of different FPS values. Like for example, as you can see, 60 FPS, 30 FPS, and 30 FPS with 90 minutes. That is also something that I talked about in the 0th episode. So if you haven't watched it, you can give it a shot. So FPS changes a lot, as you can see. Now, when we jump on this gem, we are going to do our perfect hover, and as you can see, you have many options really. You can I know some people like doing like little wiggles midair, or just turning in one direction and then switching when you hover to the other side. It's kind of to not bonk. For example, if you're like facing the gem over here, let's be honest, if you try doing it like that, you're going to bonk. But if you turn like left and then right, you're just going to avoid it. So, but if you don't want to worry about having additional inputs, you can just, for example, stand to the side of the gem, initiate it, and when you hover, just lean right. Okay. So this is how you're supposed to do this. Now, when you jump on the top of this gem, also there are many options on how you want to go to the second ledge. I know some people like to go very far right, as you can see, and do this wiggle where they do like that, so that they avoid bonking. They can also, I don't know, like for example, lean very much left, so that they have consistent inputs all throughout. They can lift a little to the left, and then they can do something like they moved forward, and then mid-air they just stop moving forward, and then after they hover they move again. So something like that. So it's genuinely what you prefer and what you feel more comfortable with. But this is why it's such a cool. Category. This is the first time you encounter perfect hovering, and you already have two sequences of doing this trick. Well, a sequence of doing this trick twice, rather, right? So you have to do it twice consecutively, like that. Okay. Practice it a couple of times and you'll get it. It's you'll have to master it because it's a very quintessential trick for all the other games. Well, for Spyro 3 as well, because in Spyro 1 you cannot hover. So so you jump, wait for the apex of the jump, then you start gliding, and then you hover after a short delay. And you do it twice. Now, when you get on top of this ledge, you're going to charge the right basket, and then when charging the left basket, Rude Gem Cutter is going to drag you, because you walk into his dialog box. And we're going. Essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to skip him, and I'm going to walk into the power-up gate, and after walking into the power-up gate, we're going to hold square, so that Spyro lands on this ledge. After that, we're going to jump off the ledge, charge jump off the ledge, lean right, and flame the first lantern. And then we're going to fall. Essentially, charging in this game is a little faster than flying overall, so we want to minimize our flight time as much as possible. So we're going to get all the lanterns on our way, while collecting all of the gems that are on the way from one lantern to another. So we kind of do it like that. You go like here, then you fly over here, get this lantern, then you drop down, you start charging, And this is basically how the entire sequence looks like. We're going to skip past the dialogue, and we cannot skip the orb animation in any way, so you have to wait through it. Then we're going to do literally the same thing. We're not going to jump because we don't need to. We're going to drop down, get these two baskets, fly up, and land over here. We're going to grab this basket, then we're going to move over here, as you can see, over here, and we have another one, another super flight. Basically what I do is I kind of like charge jump into the gate, try to lean right straight after, because then you will just bonk on top of this guy and he will kind of drag you in and you will lose the power up. So I do kind of like that. Okay, so you're going to jump in, then you're going to grab this lantern, then this lantern, go up, grab these baskets, another lantern, and then you will go into this corner over here, turn around and grab the last lantern, okay? Skip, again. And then you're going to jump over here, grab this basket and turn into Twitchy. He will give you the talisman. There is a second dialogue that you have to skip, and while the portal is being built, we're going to grab these gems on the side over here, and then we're going to fall into the portal before the portal frame actually gains its collision. Okay, and that's essentially it. That's how Glimmer is being played. I explained all of the things in as much detail as possible, and now it's time to show you the full sequence of how Glimmer is supposed to be played.